You're listening to Rabbi Aryeh Wolbe, Director of Torch, the Torah Outreach Resource Center of Houston. This is the Jewish Inspiration Podcast.
And now, my dear friends, we're going to continue on the bottom of page 500 in the Treasure for Life edition of the Orchos Tzadikkim with a continuation in the chapter of envy. Ach, yesh derech acheres keroiva lahaski v'lahavin eich hakino v'achemda mekalkalos ba'adam. There's a very easy way, a clear way of knowing and understanding how envy and lust ruin a person. V'hu al derech sh'amar Shlomo. This is what King Solomon teaches us. Al yekane libcha b'chatoim yim b'yiras Hashem kol hayom. Let your heart not envy sinners, but be in fear of Hashem all day. So when a person is jealous of sinners, and he's jealous of their wealth, he's jealous of their success, Tzaddikim mizdaldalim, and he sees righteous people who are struggling, they're suffering with poverty and other afflictions, ומתוך כך תגאל נפשו ביראת אלוקים ובמשפטו וחוקיו וימאס לומדי התורה ומקיימיה, and his soul despises fear of Hashem, his judgment and his statutes, and he despises those who observe the Torah. כי עניין שנאמר חזקו עלי דבריכם אמר Hashem ואמרתם מה נדברנו עליך. Actually from my Torah. So what your words have been strong against me, says Hashem, yet you say, what have we spoken against you? Amartem shov avoid elikim umabetza ki shomarnu mishmarto ki olachnu kudoranis mipnei Hashem tzvakos ve'ata anachnu ma'ashrim zeidim gam nivnu osei risho gam bachanu elokim vayimoletu. What is he saying here? You have said, it is vain to serve Hashem. And what does it profit us that we have kept His charge and have walked submissively before Hashem of hosts? And now we call the sinners happy. They who perform wickedness are built up. Even they who test Hashem escape. So there's a short-term vision problem that happens with people who are jealous. There's a short-term vision. What's the short-term vision problem? They only think of the now. They don't see a big picture. Right now, I want that. So what's standing in my way? Oh, God. So God must be terrible. And people jump to such a conclusion. They're like, look at all the wicked people in the world. They look like they're doing pretty well. Look at the wicked people. They're successful. Look at the righteous. They're impoverished, they're poor, they're struggling. This attitude brings foolishness into man's mind and turns their hearts backwards when they see the wicked prospering and the righteous being afflicted. This is a backwards word. So now what do? They're like, I have to be like the wicked because look at them, they're successful. They're driving nice cars, etc., etc. Look at those sinners. They're doing terrible things. They cheat, they steal. Look, they have what seems to be externally a beautiful life. We'll do the same. We'll use the same recipe and we'll be successful. We'll get the good life. Eat, drink, and be merry. For tomorrow you die. Right? It's all about what we have here. And if we have, in this world, we have what it is that we want, so then we're fulfilled. We succeeded. We succeeded. That's not true. And what the same things that happened to them, we see their success, same thing will happen to us. And all of this comes from jealousy. Because they're jealous of their wealth and they're jealous of their their tranquility. And therefore, they let go of godliness and God's commands because they're running after the momentary, fleeting world, not the eternal world. This is, my friend, this is going down to the real core of what it is that we're living for. What is it that we're living for? Are we living for now? If we're living for now, then maybe you're right. But if this is a three-dimensional world where we're not only living for here, we're living for the world to come, and we're investing in a much greater cause, a much greater world, a world, because it doesn't make sense. We all know that we have a soul, a lofty, holy neshama, right? We have a very, very holy neshama. Let me ask you, if we have a holy neshama, why do we die? Because we have to give that neshama back. One thing, we should live forever. If we're living for here, we should live forever. But we don't live here forever. We all know that nobody lives forever. Why don't we live forever? Because this place, this world, filled with challenge, filled with temptation, is a workshop in earning our keep for the world to come. That's what this world is about. And the righteous see that. So they say, you know what? Have a little bit of an inconvenience here, struggling, quote unquote, financially, having a little bit more difficulty, but look at the world. Look at how beautiful my life is. Not now, always. Aval Tzaddikim einam mikanim b'rishoyim be'einam chodim lo b'monim lo b'shavosam. Ki yachshavu she'osham shamur lehem lo ra'osam. V'shavosam lahabidam mirov tuv atzofan l'tzaddikim. Is because they consider their wealth is stored up for them. We know that for us, our reward is not meant to be here. Our reward is meant to be in the world to come, where it's eternal, where it's everlasting, where it's real. Our sages tell us that all of the pleasures of this world combined. So imagine all the pleasure you have in your life, but not only of you, of all of mankind combined, all of that pleasure combined does not equal one moment of pleasure in the world to come. Right? Imagine that. Imagine the wealth. People over here in this world that we're living in today, this modern culture, everything's about money. Everything's about money. Imagine that you amass all of the wealth of what every single human being has. Not only the money that you made your whole life is still in your bank account, but everything that everybody has ever made since Adam and Eve till today, you have. You have that money. Imagine that. That's a lot of money. That's not even a penny in the world to come. Not even a penny. So, the righteous, they're not jealous of anyone. The only thing that a righteous person should be jealous of is the good deeds of another person. You see someone learning more. You see someone growing more, praying better. That's something to be jealous of. I want to excel. Oh, it gives us a motivation. Hopefully. V'yachshavu she'oni tzaddikim v'dochkom kedei letzarfom v'labnom kedei lahagdil ma'alosam l'olam haba. Ve'ein sofek mi shechoshev kach lo yachmod v'lo yikane. Anybody who sees that the righteous, why don't the righteous, you think the righteous can't make money? Think they're not smart enough? They're brilliant in Torah, they're brilliant in everything else. They can't make money, they can't do business. They can't be the richest man on earth. They can. But they're putting everything aside so that they can invest in the world to come. Lo yachmod v'lo yikane. So therefore, they're not jealous of anybody else because they know if I start getting distracted and focusing on amassing wealth in this world, it's just going to pull me away from the next world. Ele yismach beros shavas harashoim. But rather, they become happy. They rejoice when they see the tranquility of the wicked. Yomar im lemach isav kach laoser itzono lokol shekain sheyitin v'yachzer v'yitin. What do the righteous say? They say, if this is the reward that someone who angers Hashem gets, imagine someone who goes against Hashem. Yesterday was the Grammys. There's nothing good to say about it. From what I hear, it was a repulsive, disgusting event. The way people dressed, it was just repulsive. Let me ask you a question. Those are the people who are wealthy. Those are the people who are successful. Those are the people who have money and they have the women and they have access and they have, seemingly these are the happy people of the world. But what do we know? If this is the way the lowlives get rewarded in this world, imagine those who are righteous, what reward they're going to get. Imagine the reward that is waiting for those who are righteous, those who preserve their holiness, those who preserve their dignity. Sorry, we skipped a little. Jealousy stems from a deficiency of the soul. When you don't feel internally pleased, you're jealous. Someone is jealous of the beauty of another person. What does it say about you? You're not comfortable with you. It's a basic psychology, right? When you are looking out, you're not looking in. You don't appreciate what you have in. You're not looking in. You're jealous about someone else's money, someone else's good looks, someone's house, someone's car, someone's family, because you're not looking at what you have. You're not pleased by what Hashem has declared for you. Hashem gave me this life. Hashem gave them that life. Oh, I'm not comfortable with what Hashem decreed here. Right? I want to appeal this judgment by the Almighty. Why did He give them this and not me? And this is like a servant who has only complaints about his master. Such a servant is not considered to be ein ze eved ne'eman. V'kol shekain she'ein lehisraim al habori yisborach asher kol ma'aseh yishorim v'nechochim she'ein leharher acharov. Definitely, this is someone who's considered disloyal. It goes without saying that one should not rail against Hashem, all of whose deeds are just and right, and whose justice should not be questioned. Right? We know that Hashem is called the God of justice. So God doesn't give somebody something that they don't deserve. If someone got a reward, whether it be money, whether it be a beautiful wife, a beautiful children, a beautiful home, won the lottery of $2 billion, you know why they did? Because Hashem gifted it to them. Hashem said, this is the time, this is the place, this is the individual that deserves this. And when Hashem doesn't, we have to accept that lovingly, that Hashem says, this is not for you, and not now. And perhaps another time it is for you, but now it isn't. A person does not acquire a penny worth of anything if Hashem doesn't decree it. I've shared a story in the past of a baker in the old Jerusalem community of Mea She'arim. He had a bakery, and one of his workers that he had trained for years and years to run his shop, to run his bakery, taught him all the recipes, taught him everything. Guy's like, why should I work for, Mr. Goldstein? Let me open up my own bakery right across the street. And so he did. He went right across the street and opened up his own bakery. competition to Mr. Goldberg. Mr. Goldberg went over to him, put his hand over his shoulder, and said, "Here, I want to help you. I'll tell you where to buy flour from. I'll tell you where to buy the machines from. I'll tell you where to buy all the goods, all the, everything that you need to make the delicious pastries." The family was so upset. Why is he giving? He's his competition. He's taking away his livelihood. What's wrong with you? Who would do that? Only someone righteous. You know why? He says back to his family. He says, it was decreed on Rosh Hashanah what I'm going to earn this year. This individual can't take anything away from me. Hashem already decreed what I'm going to make. I'm going to make that. If it's more, if it's less than what I made last year is irrelevant. What Hashem decreed. We have to understand there's a big picture here. There's a beautiful big picture here. Hashem gives us exactly what He decides is right for us. And that's what we have to learn to be happy with. Min hakina tova machlokas. You know what comes from jealousy? Dispute. You know who was jealous and then started a major dispute? In the book of Numbers, Korach. Kimo shetira bekorach. Shekine bechvod el tzafon ben Uziel. He was jealous of the honor that someone got. Mitoch kach nevad hu v'siato. Asher yonke shodayim. Afilu yonke shodayim. What happened was, as a result, was lost along with his entire assembly. Even the suckling infants were killed with Korach. The 250 people that were killed with Korach. Hakino livnei adam kechole haguf. Jealousy brings about, it's like physical illness to a person. It's a terrible, terrible thing. Vihi mivia shachefes. It brings terrible disease to a person when someone is jealous. Like your insides are eating you up. People who are looking at other people. Why did their children come out like that? Why were they accepted to that school? Why did they marry their children to such nice families? People can be jealous of so many different things. Why do they have a nicer car than me? Go back to that. People are always looking. I remember my father, his favorite car was a Lincoln Town Car. You remember the Lincoln Town Car? The big cars. My father wanted to buy a Lincoln Town Car his whole life. Never bought one. You know why? What will the neighbors say? Not in the way we think it. But my father would say, if I bought that car, my neighbor the next day will have to go and buy the same car. Walby has a Lincoln Town Car. I have to upgrade to a Lincoln Town Car as well. It was a statement car. Those of you who don't know, it's like today buying maybe like a Cybertruck. You know, it's like it's a statement car. You buy a Ferrari. You know, it's like your neighbor starts thinking, maybe I should, buy something a little bit better than a Toyota Camry. But that's what my father bought instead. He bought a Toyota Camry. Nobody's looking at a Toyota Camry and saying, oh, I'm jealous of that. Good car. Great car. Drives you from place to place. It's reliable. It's dependable. Best-selling car. 20 out of the last 30 years in the United States. It's a good car. It's a reliable, dependable car. But nobody is jealous. Nobody's saying, ooh, I have to go out and get my next Camry. It's something which is expensive. And that's the reason my father never got it. He never got the Lincoln Town Car. Why? No need to poke out the eyes of your neighbor. And that's a responsibility that every person should feel, that they're responsible to ensure that their neighbor isn't jealous from them. Don't poke out their eyes. Not everyone is learning what we're learning here in the Orchos Tzadikkim and knows of the terrible pitfalls of jealousy. Illness comes from jealousy. It's a result. It leads a person that eats up their insides. Amar HaChacham Livno, King Solomon told his son, Hishamar Lecha min Akina. Be very, very careful. Guard yourself from envy. Kihi nikeres b'cho sheponecho mishtani miroa leiv. He says, listen to this. It is detected on a person. There's a change of appearance. You become bitter when you're jealous. And the man whom you envy rejoices in your heart's pain. Don't do it to yourself. Why should you cause your foe to rejoice, and by doing so, take revenge on you? You're giving them all the cards. It's a very important thing for us to realize here. Jealousy does terrible, terrible damage to us. We become bitter people. Our own appearance starts to change. We become miserable people because we're looking at others and we're jealous of what they have and we want it and we're getting angry and we're getting mad. Why didn't God give it to me? To recognize that everything we have is a gift from Hashem. The good, the bad, the ugly, what appears to be ugly to us, but it's not. It's really the greatest gift. How many times did I hear from people, cannot believe God did this to me? To then open their eyes and see that this was the greatest gift, whether it was them losing their job, whether it was losing their home, whatever it was only to open new doors that they would never have opened had that door not been shut in front of them, or them not be viciously thrown out. They would stay there, comfortable. Why not? Hashem throws them out so that they now open new doors. My dear friends, this concludes day number 84.
You've been listening to Rabbi Aryeh Wolbe on a podcast produced by Torch, the Torah Outreach Resource Center of Houston. Please help sponsor an episode so we can continue to produce more quality Jewish content for our listeners around the globe. Please visit torchweb.org to donate and partner with us on this incredible endeavor.